Hey everyone! So, you've got that big ecology exam coming up, right? Well, don't worry, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to break down all the key concepts you need to know so you can totally ace that test. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, let's dive right in with the huge question your textbook starts with. Why is the temperature of the Earth increasing day by day? It's a massive question, right? And to really get it, we have to start with the basics. So, first things first, what even is ecology? So, section 1 is all about what is ecology. Think of this part as learning the essential vocabulary, the key terms you have to know for the test. Once you get these, I promise the rest of the chapter will click into place. So let's define it. Ecology, at its core, is all about the study of relationships. It's how living things and non-living things interact with each other. A great way to think about it is like a forest. You've got birds, which are living, and they need trees, also living, for their nests. But those trees, they need things like sunlight and water, which are non-living, to survive. See? It's all about how everything is connected. Okay, to make sense of all of those connections, we break the environment down into two big categories. And trust me, you're definitely going to see these two words on your exam. First, we have biotic components. The trick to remembering this one is that bio means life, just like in biology. So biotic components are all the living things in an environment, the plants, the animals, all that stuff. And then you have abiotic components. That little a at the beginning means not or without, so these are the non-living parts. Think carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight, all the essentials for life that aren't actually alive themselves. So what happens when you take all the biotic stuff and all the abiotic stuff in one area and see how they interact? Well, then you have what's called an ecosystem. A pond is a perfect example of this. The fish and the plants, biotic. The water, the sunlight, the rocks at the bottom, abiotic. And the way they all work together and depend on each other, that is the pond's ecosystem. And this diagram really nails that idea. See how the arrows go in a loop? It's a constant cycle. The abiotic things, like the environment, provide what the biotic things, the living components, need to survive. And then, when those living things die, they go back into the environment, becoming abiotic components again. It's this incredible continuous loop. All right, that brings us to section 2, the planet's breathing cycle. We're going to zoom in on one of the most critical cycles for life on Earth. You can almost think of it as the planet taking a giant breath in and out. So the big question here is, how do carbon and oxygen actually cycle through an ecosystem to keep everything in balance? This is a super important concept, so let's break down exactly how it works step by step. This diagram gives us a great overview. You can see all the major players in what's called the carbon cycle. We've got photosynthesis, that's the plants doing their thing. We've got animal respiration, that's us. Then there's decomposition, and finally, the burning of fossil fuels, or combustion. Let's see how they all connect. Okay, here's the play-by-play. Step 1 is photosynthesis. This is where plants pull in carbon dioxide and then release oxygen. Step 2 is respiration. That's us. Animals breathe in that oxygen and then breathe out carbon dioxide. It's a perfect exchange, right? Then, step 3 is decomposition. When living things die, they release carbon back into the environment. And finally, step 4, combustion, which is just the burning of fossil fuels. That also pumps a lot of carbon dioxide into the air. So that's the natural balance. But what happens when that balance gets thrown off? Well, that leads us right into section 3 and back to our original big question. Why is the Earth overheating? The answer lies in something called the greenhouse effect. Now, this is a super important concept for your exam. It's when gases like CO2, methane, and others trap the heat that's reflected by the Earth. This actually causes the atmospheric temperature to go up. Think of it like a blanket for the planet. This picture shows it perfectly. Sunlight comes down and warms up the Earth. Some of that heat then tries to escape back into space. But these greenhouse gases in our atmosphere act like a trap. They catch some of that heat and keep our planet warm. And a little bit of this is actually a good thing. The problem starts when that blanket of gases gets too thick. And that brings us to the definition of global warming. It's the increase in the Earth's average temperature, and it happens because that greenhouse effect is getting stronger and stronger. Basically, we're making the blanket thicker, and it's trapping way too much heat. Okay, so if the greenhouse effect is getting stronger, what's causing it? That's what section 4 is all about, the human impact. What are we humans doing that's cranking up the heat?
There are three main factors your book points to that are affecting global warming. You'll want to remember these. We've got the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and overpopulation. Let's take a quick look at each one.
So let's connect the dots. When we burn fossil fuels for our cars and factories, we're releasing greenhouse gases and pollutants into the air. Then there's deforestation. When we cut down trees, we're getting rid of the very things that naturally absorb carbon dioxide. And finally, overpopulation. The more people there are, the more energy we need, which usually means, you guessed it, burning more fossil fuels. It's a cycle that feeds itself.
Okay, so we've covered the problem and the causes. It can sound a little scary, I know, but here's the good news. Section 5 is all about how we can help. This is the most important part, the solutions. There are some really practical steps we can take. First, we need to reduce pollution. That means simple things like using public transport and practicing the 4 Rs: reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. Step 2 is replantation. We need to plant more trees to help soak up all that extra carbon dioxide. And step 3 is to protect endangered species by preserving their homes and preventing hunting. And protecting endangered species, like the beautiful snow leopard and the Indus River dolphin you see here, is absolutely crucial. A healthy ecosystem needs all of its parts to work. When species start to disappear because of these changes, it weakens the whole system. So protecting them isn't just about the animals, it's about keeping our entire planet healthy. And really, it all comes down to this quote here. Earth is the only planet in our solar system where life exists. We should keep the Earth's environment clean and healthy. It's a pretty simple statement, but it's powerful, right? We've only got one home, and it's up to us to protect it. And that's a wrap on our ecology exam prep. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Of all the solutions we've just talked about, which one will you start with? Seriously, think about it. Every little bit helps. Thanks so much for tuning in, and good luck on your exam. You're going to do great.